Well, good morning everybody. I promised you a little video this weekend. It's a World Cup themed video. Obviously got the World Cup going on at the moment. We won't go into the ins and outs of where it's being held. I think there are a lot more outs than ins, but we won't go into that. So I've come to a place not far from where I live, in South London, that has a particular resonance with the World Cup. It has quite a nice view here. It's not very visible here, but over South London. So this is Beulah Hill, this area that I'm in now. You see the little road behind me there. This road here is Beulah Hill. So what is special about Beulah Hill? Well, Beulah Hill has, as I say, a connection to the World Cup. No, they didn't used to hold matches in the middle of the road, jumpers for goalposts, the old fashion gag. No, in 1966, so obviously when we were holding the World Cup here, and the 1 year we had any real success in it, there was, of course, another interesting occurrence that year, which was that the World Cup itself, the Jules Rimet Trophy, that's the original Jules Rimet Trophy, not the one we use now, was nicked. It was nicked in a slightly peculiar heist. So the FA, the English FA, had been given the trophy at the beginning of 1966 in January, and they were going to put it on show. It was going to go on show at Westminster Central Hall from the 19th of March. It had been insured. It was only valued at £3,000 at the time. They'd insured it for £30,000, so they obviously put a higher value on it than than FIFA did, but nevertheless. So it goes on display at the beginning of 19th of March. The display opens. 20th of March, it's nicked. So obviously all the security they put in place looking a bit shamefaced because they didn't really know what had happened to it. So they get in touch with the Met, Metropolitan Police. The Met give it off to the flying squad, and the flying squad begin the investigation. Now the day after that, 21st of March, Joe Mears, who is the president of the FA, gets a note, a mysterious note, a ransom note, demanding £15,000 in £1 and £5 notes, and threatening that if he does not respond to this and indicate his willingness to discuss this, that the cup will be melted down and will be never seen again. He says no. He ignores the threat and takes it off. Let's get out the way of this lady on scooter. He ignores the threat and takes this to the Met, and the Met say, right, okay, well, we can probably do something in this, do a little bit of investigating here. So the Met come up with a clever plan. They say, well, Mr. Mears, if you go home and wait for the next call, you're going to get a call tomorrow, they've said in the note. So then we'll send a bloke round. We'll send one of the lads round, and they'll sit with you. I think it was called Buggy. I think the officer who went to the Mears house. So next day, the phone rings at the Mears household. Unfortunately, at the time, Joe Mears was busy having an asthma attack, which wasn't great, but nevertheless, so his wife took the call instead. Very British, thoroughly. Someone's got to do it. She passes the caller on to the chap from the flying squad, Buggy. I think his name was Buggy. I might well be getting that wrong, but I think it was. And they arrange a meeting, a handoff, where they can sort of prove that they have the trophy, and they can give a gesture of good faith. Oh, that's my thumb appearing there. Sorry, my arm's getting tired. So the next couple of days later, they arrange this meeting. They meet with a man who is eventually worked out. He goes by the name Jackson. There is a spectacularly naff police chase because Jackson gets a bit suspicious. He notices a flying squad unmarked police car following them, gets a bit suspicious, jumps into a car of his own. There's a little bit of a really naff British style police chase. And eventually they manage to catch up to Jackson and arrest him. He gets taken off to the police station, and the police station he's recognised as a criminal called Edward Betchley, a local criminal called Edward Betchley. He claims that he didn't really know anything about this. He was just being used as an intermediary, being paid 15 quid or whatever to do this. And then it kind of hits a brick wall. They don't know where to go from there, because he doesn't know who he's been dealing with, really. So it kind of hits a brick wall. And the trophy is still missing. Now this is end of March. It was about the 27th of March, I think all that happened. Obviously you've got the tournament starting in July, so the pressure is on. But there is no sign of the trophy. There is no clue of what has happened to the trophy at all. And that brings us to Beulah Hill. So I think the 27th of March is the day when all this happened. So I think that must have been a couple of days earlier. Beulah Hill here, almost exactly this spot, not too far away from here. A man is walking his dog. His dog is called Pickles. It is a border collie, little black and white thing. His dog notices a mysterious package wrapped up in newspaper under a bush. And the bloke thinks, well, that's unusual. So he opens it up, and lo and behold, in there is a trophy. Now, this bloke, clearly not a big fan of football, doesn't actually recognise the trophy until he looks at the bottom of it, where he sees names of past winners, and he recognises some of those. So he takes this to the police, and the police say, okay, that looks like the trophy. And yes, so that is the story of how that trophy is found. That trophy is found here on Beulah Hill on, I think, the 27th of March 1966. The Metropolitan Police keep the trophy as evidence until April, presumably taking a lot of pictures and pretending their local team has won it, but nevertheless, that's what happens. The dog becomes a national hero briefly. There's a big celebration dinner put on by FIFA. And the dog goes along as a guest, special guest, whom he gets a big plate of sausages. He goes on to star in a couple of TV series and films, the dog. Slightly strange, but I suppose that's what being a national hero does for you. Yes, so that is the story of Beulah Hill, a very traffic-heavy Beulah Hill today, and the rediscovery of the original Jules Rimet trophy in 1966, which, of course, after they give it back to the FA on the 18th of April, will go on later in that year to be awarded to the jolly old England team after their defeat of West Germany. I have to say, I'm not holding out hope for this year, a similar result this year. But nevertheless, it's coming home. Come on, we've got to be positive. It's coming home. See you for now.